Good morning, back for another day. Yesterday evening I got some help from my mum, you saw that just in the time lapse, and we almost got one wall completely done with plasterboards. However, the plasterboards that I have bought are 90 centimeters wide, and the issue is the last gap that I have is 92.5 centimeters. I know that you can buy some plasterboards that are 120 centimeters wide, so instead of just making a well enough solution, if you could put it that way, where we did something that was a bit sketchy or kind of a botched job, we decided to wait, and then I need to go to the builder's merchant now with the trailer, go and get two pieces of plasterboard that is a bit wider than the ones that we have already now, and then I'm going to cut those two to size and put them up there. First step first is to go to the builder's merchant and pick up these two pieces of plasterboard. See you in a bit. Yes, man. Fuck you, Finn. Hello, man. Get in. I got this part sorted. I'm very happy that I didn't do a botch job on it and try to do a filler on the rest of it, like the last couple of centimeters. I'm very happy that I went out and bought a sheet. I had already realized before I picked it up that I couldn't carry it up the stairs. So what I did was I moved this sort of small working setup that I've got here. I moved that downstairs and I did the cuts outside. It's 10 degrees outside, and sunny, as you can see in the background, so it's wonderful weather here in Denmark today. And what I need to get done now is actually just the rest of the wall. It's not going to be that difficult, hopefully, fingers crossed. I did manage to find a way of doing this myself. Yesterday evening I got some help from my mom. And the issue is that you need to you can see I've done a full piece of plasterboard here, and then a small bit of 15 centimeters up there. However, I think I am able to stand it up tall and use these two pieces of wood to hold it in place, and then I only lack 1 or 2 centimeters. And instead of having to push it up 15 centimeters, I only have to push it up 2 centimeters, which is fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a full piece of plasterboard up here. I'm going to trim off the edge of it first at the bottom, because I don't want to do that behind where the radiator is going to sit. It's going to be very tight with the pipes, and I will need to have a plumber to have a look at that. But I'm buying a new radiator for this space here underneath the window. So I'm going to trim the edge off first, as I've done here, because then you can join them with skim, and then you can tape it. And I am going to need to do that at the bottom afterwards. So I'll do that, and then it's going to cover half of the window, the piece that I'm going to put up, and I reckon I'm just going to saw it out afterwards. So saw it out at the top, saw it out at the bottom with a regular saw, and then I reckon I can get in behind it and cut it out flush with my knife. So I think that's what I will be doing, and then I just need to crack on. So I'll chuck on some music, you'll be watching a time lapse, and hopefully I can get that done not too late in the afternoon. Right, the wall is done behind me and also behind me here, and that wall behind me is also done, meaning that all the walls here in the living room are now sorted. I have about half an hour or maybe an hour left of daylight. I want to get up to the smoke shaft that I plastered yesterday, and I want to sand it down, and then I want to give it some primer so I can go ahead and paint it afterwards, give it a first coat of paint to the stage where it is right now, and so I can let that sit overnight, do that again, give it another coat of paint in the morning, let that set for half of the day, and give it a third coat of paint. I think like 3 coats of paint is what is needed for this this upstairs and the smoke shaft. I have about 6 or 7% battery left on my phone, so I'm not going to record the things. I'm going to make sure to charge it up whilst I'm home for dinner, which is in about an hour and a half or something from now. And then tonight I will actually tape all the joints and plaster those, so there'll probably be some time lapses of me doing that later on. But yeah, might as well get cracking. So it did get quite late yesterday. I think I was here till like 2:15 in the morning, and it was because I was quite stubborn and I wanted to get the first coat of skim coat on the walls and tape the joints and close all the small screw holes that I did. So I did that, and you can see that here. I see that it is not fully dried. I think I need to let it set for like 24 hours or something. So I'll leave that for now. I can see most of it's looking dry, but there's still some moist spots in here. However, what has dried has been the first coat of paint in the smoke shaft upstairs. So what I'll do is I will head upstairs and I will give it another coat of paint. We'll let that dry. I also need to drill a hole for this arm that needs to go up there. That's not like an automatic arm that opens and closes the window. And on top of that, you can see I've moved things a bit around, and that is because I want to get all of the walls down here in the living room. I want to have those fully skim coated within the next couple of days, so that they're ready to be painted, meaning that I don't have much more to do down here aside from putting up a new ceiling, and then I just need to put down a new piece of flooring. Obviously also fixing the radiator and that kind of thing, and do the windowsill, and there's a few more other like details I need to do. But yeah, I think I might as well get cracking with some painting upstairs, and I think I'll put that into time lapse for you now. Cheers. I should be careful not to touch this one. Oh, come on, get out. now is this side is actually finished, meaning that I can put on the plasterboard on this side. I will probably need to put up a small piece of wood right here, so I can get that fixed today. I can put up the plasterboard on the wall behind me here, so I can close off this corner, close this one, and I would technically also be able to close that part there. However, I am not too certain of doing this on my own, so I might wait with this until tomorrow or until Friday, when I've got an extra pair of hands helping me with doing that. But there are no sockets to be put into that wall, so I can do that one, and I can also put an insulation in it. I can do the top of this one. Yeah, so I can do this one behind me as well. I need to trim it so like it goes straight with sort of like I can fit it up here. But I think it's actually going to be alright. This is a lot of me moving cameras around, but it's to get the right angle for you guys, and also for myself. At the end of the day, this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing the video documentation of all of this for myself, so I can look back on the entire renovation of it and see how it all went after it's done. Going back to my story, once I've given the inside of the smoke shaft here, the second and the third coat, I'm going to give them both today. I can add in another piece of plasterboard, which will go down to around here, and then I can crawl under. I can do the tape, the joints. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to do that tomorrow, because as you just saw me, I inserted the wire into the smoke shaft, and that wire is going to be connected to the arm that is automatically opening and closing the window that's in the top of it here. And I want to mount that arm. However, this is electrics and I'm not too comfortable with that. I've mentioned that a few times. So I'm going to get my brother to do that. He's going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to mount that arm. He's going to do some other electric stuff in here. And once that's mounted, I can close off the next bit. I can crawl under. I can do the tape that will go here to get this into one piece. I can coat it, I can let it dry, sand it down, give it another coat, skim coat, let that dry, sand it down, and then I can give it 3 coats of paint, and then I can get rid of the scaffolding that you see here, the 2 or 3 pieces of wood that's laying beneath it, and then I can do the last bit of it from downstairs. And you cannot imagine how much I've been looking forward to this, because this smoke shaft has been open for, we're approaching April, it's been open for at least 3 months, and it closes off so much sun for the way up to the apartment. So yeah, it's been a long and tough grind, but it's soon over, and once that's closed, I can put the rest of it down, and I can move on essentially, and I'm looking very much forward to that. So yeah, solid progress, but I don't get anywhere from standing here and chatting, so I might as well get on with it. Alright, let's get started. Welcome back to the smoke shaft here. I have now mounted back the arm that goes up on the smoke shaft, and you can see it's like an automatic arm. And I didn't really want to mount this one down from the ground. As you can see, I'm standing up on a ladder on a piece of scaffolding in the smoke shaft, so that's why I wanted to do it this way around. I want to test the mechanics that they are fully working. Previously there was a fault code down on the panel that sits in the staircase going up to the apartments, and that one has now closed. So I think it's working. but I want my brother to come because he's got a bit more information, or he's got a bit more knowledge about the electrics and that kind of thing. Aside from looking at the electrics in the smoke shaft, my brother also gave me a quick crash course on how to properly tape and mod the joints, which is also the conclusion of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I apologize for the delay in uploading. I promise to have the next one ready for you guys very soon. See you then. Cheers.